Ever since Gus Malzahn was let go and the Auburn boosters/administrators had no backup plan, the Tigers have been an easy target for many in the national media to poke fun at, and deservedly so. We've seen debacles and bad decision-making from the higher-ups, but make no mistake about it, poke all the fun you want at Auburn, but remember you can win big there. The reason? Auburn has the needed recipe for success. You have an unbelievably loyal fan base that creates better atmospheres than most places and planets. People show up for events and they travel in heavy droves for away games. You have all the resources you need to compete at the highest level, including a brand new state-of-the-art football facility that's just being added as we speak. You play in the best conference in the land, so there are college game day worthy venues and huge opportunities multiple times a year. That is a guarantee. You're also located right smack dab in the middle of the most fertile recruiting ground in the world when it comes to college football. And Auburn has proven that it can win big multiple times across the span of years. Auburn also has a magic feel to it around town. It's an easy place to fall in love with if you're an outsider or raising a family or growing up there. It's just a great place in general. But the best part about Auburn, the part that separates Auburn, is that Auburn fans love Auburn, not just the football team. Now, just like any place, it does have its shortcomings, with an old guard that is now more driven and arrogant than ever now that the Bryan Harsin experiment failed so miserably. So at this point, might as well embrace it. The one thing Auburn cannot afford to lose, though, is its standards. The minute that being average is accepted, and the second you bow down to rivals Bama or Georgia, is when your goose is officially cooked for a long time. Auburn's been great before, and it can be again. But what they need now is a head coach that isn't afraid to fight in the recruiting jungle that is the SEC, and that includes NIL. They need a coach that can embrace the new community. They can evolve with the game, but can also build an identity that he himself has molded, a direction that he himself sees. Now, there are only a few candidates that can actually cut the mustard in the current coaching pool and what's available to Auburn. And new athletic director John Cohen has been thrust into a role that will define Auburn football for the next decade. Regardless of who he finally settles on, one thing is for sure. You can not only win at Auburn, you can win big. And anybody that tells you it's a bad job is a hater or don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback, Heisman candidate David Cohn, my brother, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, current NFL free agent, Packers.
That's
maybe.
it.
I want more.
He's done.
Give me more compliments.
Apologize.
Jack.
And the mustache is coming back.
Yeah.
Is it No Shave November, or are you going full?
I don't want to go against the grain here in No Shave November, but can I grow this out? Because I got to grow the mustache. I got to get a little bit more.
Yeah. You can grow that out and then mustache.
With the mustache, right? Is that
totally
acceptable?
Fine. That's
for
acceptable.
No Shave November?
I accept that.
I don't know.
I accept that.
I haven't done it.
I accept that.
Shave.
I
I'll think
cannot
about
imagine
it.
you.
Okay,
I'll get back to you.
Write a thesis for me. And no,
No.
you sure?
That sounds like a lot.
Sometimes it takes a lot.
All right, I'll do that for you.
We'll talk about it.
I'll
We'll
do
think
that.
about it.
Cool.
Now
No
the
Shave
serious
November
stuff.
thesis.
But in all reality, guys, I mean, look, every place goes through its ebbs and flows. I mean, you look at Alabama, for example. They were a laughing stock of college football going on 5 to 7 years with the Mike Price. You remember the Dennis Franchione, Mike DeBose, Mike Shula,
Good old
all
days.
that stuff. All right. We're at rock bottom. You're able to flip it around. Everything is cyclical. Auburn's had some bad looks with the boosters and the administrators. Obviously, they have deserved some of the ridicule that they've gotten. But if you think that Auburn is not a good job, number one, with what they can pay, all right, which is what we've seen. You want to know how much Stephen Leath, the president, costs Auburn? About $100 million. About $100 million when you look at it. You look at Auburn, where they're located at in the SEC, I talked about it. But Auburn has proven you can win a national championship. They've proven you can go to a national championship. And while your rivals, Bama and Georgia, are at the peak of where they have been, Auburn can win. And they were right to fire Bryan Harsin. Pack your stuff up, stop all the crying, get out of town, take your $15 million, y'all can go take pictures in leather pants somewhere else. My thing with Auburn is you need a guy who is a dog recruiter that understands how to recruit in the SEC. That doesn't just mean that you can sit in a living room and talk good. That's not what I'm saying. It's knowing the places that you can go. What high school in Georgia can I go in and have a fighting chance in? What in Mobile, where can I go where they're not just going to automatically send the kid to Bama? and then go national and build it around like that. You also need to have ties to people down here that understand the lay of the land, that have the high school coaching connections and things like that. So it's not saying you have to be born down here or you even have to be the best talker. Bryan Harsin couldn't recruit. He didn't believe in NIL. Said during a staff meeting that I don't want to use NIL as an excuse for not getting a guy. That's like saying you don't want to insult the cake because you didn't build it with sugar. You didn't make it with sugar. It makes no sense. You have to use NIL nowadays. So Auburn got rid of Bryan Harsin. They needed to. The experiment failed. Tried to give him the benefit of the doubt at the beginning. He just didn't have that dog in him. But he's also a millionaire now, like a multi-millionaire. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the content. Blaine just took a pie to a face because he lost a fantasy bet. That's how we roll around here. So if you're not subscribed, don't close your eyes because you may get one too.